Hey, kia ora. Helen Brahms coming to you live from Buckeye in Arizona. Hope you're all having a super fantastic, sparkling Serenity Sunday. Oh, how has your day been? Were you able to relax, kick back, relax, do something that was out of the ordinary that helped you relax some? And my mom's texting me. Should have to wait a moment. Um, Sorry, Ma. Um, Now I lost my train of thought. So it's just that day that you unplug. Um, I did kind of unplug, but I did do some genealogy research, which for me is not work, and it wasn't for a client; it was personal, so that was okay. I also was reading, did some reading today. Kind of fell asleep, so I thought I'm taking a nap. Zephy and I went and napped for like 2.5 hours this afternoon. It was awesome. We even turned the alarm clock off this morning because I had the alarm clock go off at the same time every day if I oversleep. And then if I wake up, I don't immediately bounce out of bed. I just lay there and go through the things that I'm grateful for to begin each day with a grateful heart. And and then eventually get up. But I always have the alarm clock in case I oversleep. And today I thought, I'm just going to turn the alarm clock off and wake up when I wake up. And I woke up, and my alarm's set to go off at 5:07, and usually I'm awake before it. Yes, that's how little sleep I need. And today I slept until 6:30. I was like, yes. And then I laid in bed and read for a bit before we finally got up and went to the dog park and had breakfast and did our live. And then after that did some genealogy research, went and sat and read for a bit, did the genealogy and history show, went back, did some reading, went and took a nap, and continued watching a new TV series that I've been watching the last, how long have I been watching now? 2 weeks, I think it is. Yeah, 2 weeks. It's called The Royal, and The Royal is about a hospital based somewhere in England. I'm not exactly sure. In the late 1950s, early 1960s. So it's kind of fun to get taken back into that time to see how people lived. And all the communication, of course, is done up on rotary dial telephones, landlines, and stuff. So it's always interesting to see how they cope with emergencies back then. And they're at this hospital. There's no emergency. The ambulance drivers are purely ambulance drivers. They are not paramedics. They know nothing about first aid. They just put people on the stretcher and take them where they need to go. Um, and they basically got no first aid training whatsoever. So it's kind of interesting to see how it was back then in that area, and then how they got their emergency kit, and they come running down the street, running down to the accident scene with a box, and in the box would be the glass IV things, because they didn't have the plastic IV back then. It was all in glass bottles, and the tubing and everything, and they had their emergency kit in a cardboard box. And then as the program develops, you see their emergency kit getting from a cardboard box into now it's in a big leather case. So it's been interesting watching that. But the cool part is, because it's based in the '60s, the early '60s. One of my favorite singers from the UK is Sir Cliff Richard, and I'm hearing a lot of his music. And then there's a lot of other songs coming out, and going, oh, I remember that song. And then I get these songs stuck in my head, or I start singing along with them, and of course then they fade the song out and go back to the talking, and I'm like, no, keep playing the music. But it's a lot of fun. It's just about the people that live in the hospital, that work in the hospital. The matron actually lives in the hospital. I kept going, I know that face for the matron, and I thought kind of looks like Wendy Craig. And Wendy Craig is this this British actress who started a TV series years ago called Butterflies, and she was mother of two grown boys and a husband. She was bored with her life. She drove around in this little Mini that had a big Union Jack flag on top of it, so a very distinctive Mini. Um, and she was having an affair with some guy because she needed some spice in her life, and it was just, and her husband was a guy that, amongst all of his interests, was butterflies. And so it was just kind of interesting. It was a very interesting comedy to watch, and I remember her from back then. And she kind of still looks the same, but of course a lot older, because that show was in the '70s. The show was recorded in the when was the show recorded? Like the 2000s, I think it was. So it was good to see some familiar faces in there, of ones that I've seen on British shows over the years and stuff. So I'm kind of enjoying it, and it's yeah, it's just a fun show to watch, and just watching, back in that time, how they cope with medical emergencies and everything. And um, and just the communications they're getting around and watching the changes develop as new technology starts to come in and things like that. So that's kind of cool. I'm actually up to just about to start season 4, because you remember the British TV series are a lot smaller than the US series. They typically go in multiples of 6, so you either have 6, 12, or 18 episodes per season. And this is one I think has around 12 to 16 episodes per season. So I just finished season 3 today. So, but it's good to get some good music, have some good. It's a drama comedy thing. There's some really funny things that happen in there. Some great one-liners that get dropped in there. And it's just this little town, this little seaside town in England, and just all the family connections and everything else. Like the girl behind the receptionist, her dad's one of the porters, and he's got his fingers in lots of pies, and he gets lots of deals for family relatives and stuff. And the fact that if he needs something for the hospital, he's got some family connection somewhere or a really good mate somewhere that can give him a really good deal, even if it's not exactly top notch, but it's not the worst. So it's kind of middle of the road as far as quality goes. So yeah, it's amazing how he ropes in family and stuff. But anyway, so we've had a great day of relaxation. It's been awesome. We just got back from a walk. I mean, I haven't even changed yet. I thought, I gotta do my life. So we just got back from our walk. We went down to the dog park. Again, that one dog park was full of all the big dogs and everything else. And I stood there, so I was in the middle of it. I just stood and stopped with Steph, and I go left or right. And she just started moving over to the left and went, okay, that's the way we're going. And so she could see the big dogs in the other one, but she chose to go to the one to the left. And she did her own thing and ran up and down the fence with them, sniffed them a few times. So maybe tomorrow night we'll try taking her into the big dog park with the big dogs and see how she does. But she seems to get on with them through the fence. And they have a double gate system. So a double gate system in a dog park, if you're not familiar, you have a gate, then you have like a holding area, then there's another gate to let you in. So you come in through the first gate, close it behind you, then you open the second gate and the dogs can run into, and you unleash your dog in this little holding area, and then you let them open the gate and they go running into the park. But the double gate is to stop so that when you're coming in, the other dogs aren't getting out. And I love parks with double gates. And like I said, these are nice, tall, 6-foot high fences around the things with bars in between them and all of that sort of thing. And this guy comes in tonight with his dog. He comes into that holding area. So he comes in through the first gate and takes his dog off the leash and then opens up the second gate, but he hadn't closed the first gate. So his dog and another dog around the same size, similar breed to his, both take off out into the park. And he's sort of like, and he starts calling his dog, and he quickly closes the gate. The owner of the other dog comes running out, he closes the outer gate, and one of the women gets the dogs that have gone into that outer area back into the main part of the dog park, closes the gate. The owner of the other dog is also out there. They go catch up with the dogs before they got out on the road, because there's nothing to stop them from going onto the road. Fortunately, it is a dead-end street, so the only people coming down that road are those coming to the campground. I don't even know what's further down the street from the campground or how far down it goes before it ends. But they got the dogs and brought them back in, and they're like, man, your dog's fast. And I'm just like looking at the dogs going, if they think that's fast, they've seen nothing yet with Zeph, because she's fast. She is fast. And I know that we're going to come across a dog at some point that is going to outrun her. I know she's not the fastest dog around, but so far she's yet to meet a dog that can outrun her in speed. Hungry girl. And but they said these dogs were running fast, and I thought, that's not even fast at all. You were able to catch them. That's not fast. Driving a dog that will go, but as soon as she hears her name, she'll turn around and start coming back towards her, and at the last second she will veer off. Like, it's a game for her. It's a game. See how close I can get before you grab me. Her game is to come running towards me and then see how close she can get and duck off before I grab her. So that's her game that she likes to play. But fortunately, when she does get away from me, she does turn around and start coming back towards me. And when she did that, when we were in Menifee, on our way back to Arizona, we were at the back of a shopping center, and there was a very busy main road where we were parked. And she starts heading towards that road till I called her, and she turns around and comes running back towards me. But then she dives off and goes towards the back delivery area of one of the stores. So I got inside. I reached inside where the seat was because I had her leash there. Picked her leash up off the thing, held her in my hand and said, "Buck up." And she came running straight to me and stood there while I buckled her up. And then I put her inside, took her leash off and told her to stay. And she did while I walked around the corner and got the mail. But yeah, so she is ready to come to me. At least when she hears her name, she turns around and comes in my direction. And that's all I can ask for. I just got to train her a lot more when she's off the leash to actually come to me. And I'm not sure how to do that in large open spaces where I don't want her getting away, where she sees freedom and wants to run. So got to figure that one out. So there'll be some more training going on in the off the leash areas and that sort of thing. But anyway, and so after the dog park, we went for this nice long walk around some of, all the way down to the far side of the RV park, down a few rows, and then came back around. So we getting to explore the RV site. It's quite deep and very wide. So yeah. But anyway, and I was going to do laundry today, but we sat when I was sitting in here, we're watching parades of people walking across with carts, the little pull-on carts, like my little pink cart, full of laundry. And I'm so like, it must be major laundry day here in the RV park. So I stopped in, and there were a few machines empty, but I'm just sort of like, I really don't feel like doing it now. I want to do it when it's still daylight. So I may do it tomorrow afternoon after I finish working and duck over there and run a couple of loads through. And so I managed, there was somebody in there, so because I can't go in with Zeffie, I was able to ask them how much it was per load, and they were able to tell me. So it's going to cost $3 per load. So it's not too bad, a little on the expensive side compared to some parks, but not the most expensive. Yeah, the most expensive one was $7 a load. That's the one in Escondido. So we don't do our laundry there. We go down the road to the laundromat. That's a lot cheaper. But anyway, that's it from me for today. Have a super fantastic, sparkling evening. We will catch you back here bright and early for Magic Monday. So go and enjoy the rest of your evening. I'm going to go get dinner together. Zeffie's just eaten hers. She's now back up watching the kids playing outside, and that's one thing. There's a lot of kids here, and it's kind of weird being back in a campground where there's a lot of kids around. And in this one, there are a lot of families in this one. So as we're walking back, there were these two little girls. "Your dog looks like my friend's dog. Can we pet your dog?" I said, "Only if it's okay with your parents." And I said it loud enough that the parents could hear, because I was sitting outside, and they turned around and go, "Yep, that's fine." And they were telling the kids, just walk up slowly, hold your hand out, hold the back of your hand out so the dog can sniff it. And I had to hold Zeffie down because she was ready to like jump on them. And I was like, yeah, we're not having that. But anyway, have a super fantastic, sparkling evening. We'll catch you bright and early tomorrow morning for Magic Monday. Hakonara.